Good. Morning, Bill.
Morning.
How's the other side of the river?
Uh, Cloudy. We had just a brief shower this morning sometime. Uh, Not enough to get through the trees.
I see. Okay. Are your hearing aids working now?
But, it was the eyes yesterday.
Oh, eyes yesterday. I
Uh,
see.
and the hearing aid, I'm still waiting for the one that was out for repair. I'm managing.
Okay.
Morning, Joanne.
Morning, Bill. How you doing? You're managing.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of feel the same way. I'm telling Carol I've had a backache this week, so
Ooh.
not used to that kind. Yeah, right here.
Oh, welcome to my
And then
world.
my chiropractor hasn't been around when I've had a car. So
Oh,
look, Monday I didn't have a car, and Tuesday I did, but he wasn't there when I was available. So we'll try today. We have a bigger opening, but I wanted to do it before this morning, so I may be limited in my movement, but I wanted to be here.
no. Okay. Well,
We'll see.
there's,
We'll see, right?
there's a lot to be gained from observation.
That's right, and being just present.
Yeah.
Breathing.
I highly recommend breathing.
Yes, all sorts of breathing.
Uh,
Get a little rainy out there.
Yeah. Well, we've had some nice days.
And I see that all the rain has brought your mushrooms up.
Oh,
You have quite a mushroom field over there. You only had a few last week.
it's brought everything up there. The onion grass and
Yeah, we get a lot of onion.
all the
grass.
good things.
All the good things. The chives are all over. I'm making dinner with the chives tonight. I just
Good.
make the chives and throw them into a meal, an Irish pasta meal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What time?
That's right. It's salmon, chives, sour cream, olive oil, and pasta, basically.
Ooh.
It's really good. I just read it. I was taking the train home from New York. Somebody's New York Times was there, and it was a narrative, not even like a recipe.
Yeah.
Of this Belfast chef. Go out and get a big handful of chives. That's like that's the measurement. Whatever a big handful of chives is.
Okay.
Chop them up, and then your sauce is just half sour cream, half olive oil, and then you take lox and you chop up the lox and put them in. I've also done it when I didn't have chives at other parts of the year, or at this part of the year with arugula or with asparagus, uncooked asparagus cut. Fresh asparagus cut very small. And then the pasta's warm, so you put it in, it just warms it up a little. And somebody just gave me a lot of asparagus from his garden yesterday at a meeting.
Oh, nice.
He walked into the meeting and gave everybody pies of asparagus. It was lovely.
Shelley used to do that.
Yeah, Shelley
I had a lot of it, so anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like foraging in the spring or something.
We'll miss Shelley's asparagus. It was really good.
Sometimes it didn't make it home.
I bet. Well, yeah,
Because
it's really lovely. I like it.
I don't cook it well. I
You
always
can't overcook it.
Yeah.
And then it really tastes like that canned stuff I had to eat as a child. I hated
I
asparagus.
like the canned stuff too.
Oh, do you? Well, it's still coming up. It's a perennial. It will last for 20 years or so.
Well,
Oh.
it depends on what Craig does with the bed.
Right. Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
I don't think he's going to do much gardening.
Yeah. That one you can just probably pick though for 20 years
Oh,
and
yeah.
not have to do much gardening. It's not much you have to. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to probably in the fall do some preparing the bed, but we don't often. And it's still ours comes up, but we don't have a lot of it. Anyway, is the other bill coming?
Well, as far as I
We
know.
think. We
But-
think, but we don't know.
He's not here at the moment. So maybe we'll go ahead. And if he appears, we'll join him.
We'll let him in.
We'll let him in. Yes, we will.
Admit, Bill Bynum entered. He just came.
Oh, he did.
I
Ah,
just saw it pop up.
Thank you.
It didn't stay
It doesn't
up very
stay though. I know.
Oh, wow.
I just leaned over and saw it
Okay.
up at the top.
Uh,
Make it easier on yourself, David. You can adjust it so you don't
Oh, there he is.
let us in though. I don't
There we
invite
go.
people. Unless I'm doing something that's kind of like, well, it needs to be very private. I'm very bad at multitasking
Ta-da.
sometimes. I have to facilitate,
attention to
watch
this.
the time, and admit people.
Yes, well, you need a partner there.
Well, yes. Not everybody wants to. I just don't hit it that way.
I thought it would be nice to have a technician. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Morning,
right.
Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Morning. How's everybody doing there?
We're good,
Yeah.
more or less.
Right, we'll live.
Boy.
So, indeed. So, how's your breathing? What are your
I'm going.
breathing questions? Are you breathing?
I've been breathing ever since we last met.
So, what stage of longevity breathing do you feel you've accomplished?
Look, none of us are.
Are you breathing?
Keep breathing up into your brain.
Okay, well, if I concentrate on it for several days in a row, I can get up to the shoulders. Sides, kidneys, up to the shoulders. Yeah.
I mean, upper back.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you have the sides, the lower back, the middle back, and kidneys and upper back all involved simultaneously.
That's my sensation. Yes.
Uh-huh. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Bynum?
Yeah, I do feel everything expanding, but I don't have uh, an identity with specific organs, even though it's more than lungs, but I'd say my granularity isn't there. But synchronizing the breathing and the movement
Mm-hmm.
and slowing down. One thing that I did do a lot of was I realized in my practice that my spine would straighten out, and then all of my motion was twisting arms and stuff was gradual going. So I moved from one to the other and straightened out my spine. Doing the breathing and trying to do the longevity breathing, even though it's fuzzy in terms of identity with the or specific organs, um, helped regulate that a lot more. I've been feeling like my flows have been a lot more rounded and um,
Hmm.
continual.
Good. So, one of the things I guess I would say is it sounds to me like you might double check that you are fully involving all three levels on the sides and the lower back and middle and upper back, even though you don't have a specific connection to the organs yet. That will come. If you get all these parts moving, it massages all of the organs, whether you're thinking about it or not. So really the important thing here is to get everything working together. And the thing I discovered in another class at one point working with this was that somebody thought about it just simply as everything going and everything coming back. And you really need to work through each stage and make sure that you have the lower, middle, and upper sides fully active, even though the movement is very small. And that you actually can have those all going at the same time that your abdomen and diaphragm are moving. And then add the lower back, and then add the middle back, and then add the upper back, one at a time, making sure that you have everything fully involved. It's not just expand everything and contract everything, because you will not involve all of the elements equally if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on how much practice you have put into longevity breathing, it is not a quick thing. Actively involving all of the parts may take you years. This is not something that you accomplish in a matter of days. So
I feel I'm building, though, on other practices we've done, that we've done aspects of this. So I'm not starting from scratch here.
yeah,
So
no. I'm
kind of
sure.
reminding myself of that, and of that awareness. Although I do think I have more both knowledge, information, and insights, therefore, to some aspects of it, I think.
Mhm.
I think
Sure.
particularly doing 3 and trying to breathe in to each, or the organs on each side. It's like, do I feel my liver? I think probably my biggest challenge I've noticed is that I tend to constrict a little bit when in the breathing in. That I feel like I remember last week you saying that, just a little too, maybe a little too muscular as you're breathing to the back. I just kind of feel like that's
Well,
maybe I'm a little off there.
it becomes probably more of a problem with reverse breathing
Oh yes, yeah,
than it does with longevity, but it can be an issue in longevity too, because we decide that we want to breathe fully and we push everything
it out, right.
and pull everything in, and
Yeah.
that's not what it is.
no, I know it's not what it is. That's kind of.
Yep.
I feel like I'm getting things to places they need to be, but maybe.
Good.
Maybe too much oomph. Hitting the bellows too hard or whatever.
I've been trying to do the longevity breathing for the first 3,
Mhm.
and I think I've been doing reverse breathing for so long that
Yeah.
okay, how do I actually do this? And okay, the inhale, yeah. Well, what's happening with the exhale?
Mm. I do. I switch. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I get. I'm. Yeah. I tend to move right into the reverse breathing just from
Yeah.
I had it. Yeah.
Though I've been more aware of the kidneys during before. That's been nice.
Oh, good.
It gives that more of a focus.
Good. So, unfortunately, last week, Bill and Bill, you were not able to be here due to power failure, internet failure. But we met, and the ladies are referring to practicing using longevity breathing with the first 3 and reverse breathing for the second 3 movements. And so I would like you to do that again today. I don't know whether you tried it during the week or not, but I'd like you to do a flow and really try to use as much of the longevity breathing as you have. Really, Carol and Joanne have been practicing for longer than you guys have, so they may be a little more easily able to do this than you can, but there's no reason that you can't work to it. So do the best you can. Really pay attention to not allowing any pauses to develop. My personal tendency has always been to pause after the inhale, after the exhale, before I inhale, and it took me a while to really break that habit. One of my other students has been working very hard on that because he found that every time he came to the end of his exhale, he paused before he inhaled, regardless of what he was doing. So we would like the breath to be continuous.
Well, I think I have the same challenge too that I think Bill Bynum you said, which is that I, that the movement of my back, that I'm like standing straight up and still not, that I just, that level of coordination isn't always there. So that throws the breath off. Then every piece throws something else off
Yeah.
for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But I think that's still a challenge.
Well, you're all making headway, and it just takes a lot of time. If you listen to Bruce in class, he often says, in order to accomplish this, it's going to take you more than a couple of weeks. It probably will take you months or years.
Right.
So, not being too hard on yourself is simply doing the best you can, as much as you can. As Master Joe said, do your very best and make a little progress each day.
But don't overdo it.
And don't overdo it. That too. So, I'd like you to do a flow and try that longevity breathing in 2, 3, and 4, and reverse breathing in 5, 6, and 7.
20 rep.
Yes, please.
I might do 10 I
That's-
don't know.
that's
Just,
fine.
I'd like to get through all of them. I'm not sure 20 would be. I haven't done 20 this week.
Well, do 10. Do 10. That's fine.
I try to go very slow.
Good.
I'll have to see you around the poles.
Yeah. Good. A lot of really nice work there. I particularly like that everyone seemed to really take the time at the beginning before you started to move to be aware and present and establish your breathing. So that was good. That was good. So what was your experience of doing that? Were there places where your breathing stopped? Any breathing issues? I mean, that's kind of our focus at the moment.
I am much more comfortable with reverse breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And much more practiced in it, I think. Kind of going back more recently now to longevity breathing at the beginning is a challenge for me. Because I was really getting into, I think, kind of the rhythm and the practice of reverse breathing. So I found that a challenge.
So, one of my questions always with if you're more comfortable with reverse breathing is, are you still moving all the same parts of your body?
I believe so.
Are you okay?
I mean, yes, because I think I've really been practicing with reverse breathing
Oh.
and kind of coordinating all of that. This
Yeah.
so that when I have to do longevity breathing for the first 3, I feel like I'm somehow it discombobulates me. You know,
You're
because
struggling a little
I'm
bit.
struggling like, oh no, why am I? Yeah, I should be doing. Yeah, I'd slip back in or whatever. So
Yeah.
there's too much focus on my breathing. I found in the first 3, and
Uh-huh.
and then whenever there's discomfort, and I noticed that certainly with my back this week and today, then I rush a little too much. Like, oh God, I gotta get through this one because it hurts, right? Or I gotta get this one because I gotta breathe again. But or am I inhaling or exhaling kind of thing. So I think that just because my practice for so long has been with reverse breathing and putting everything together, getting the breathing, getting the awareness there, then that is clearly more comfortable.
So one of the things I would say is that certainly there is no reason that you cannot do reverse breathing through the
For the whole thing,
entire thing. I really am just for a couple of weeks here emphasizing this in case you don't have longevity breathing fully developed,
Uh-huh.
because that's essential first.
Yeah.
But absolutely, you can use use reverse breathing through the entire practice.
Right, and I've already been through that process before in other
Yeah.
practices here.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Bill or Bill?
I have the opposite issue.
That makes
I'm
sense.
I'm very used to longevity breathing.
Uh-huh.
Well, I've been doing one version of it, another for years, back to when I was running.
Yeah.
So that's very comfortable and very normal for me, and reverse breathing is not. So
Uh-huh.
the longevity breathing comes fairly naturally these days, and the reverse breathing I really have to concentrate hard on more than I kind of want to because it's taking away from my attention to other things. So
That's a good point. That I'm kind of pushing you here. Everybody's sort of equally, and everybody isn't equal. Everybody's individual, and you need to do your practice in the way that it is most beneficial for you. So you might need to let go of reverse breathing at the moment. But keep in mind that gradually you need to bring reverse breathing into it,
Yeah.
because that is where you want to head to eventually. But it doesn't have to be now. So that's a good awareness, and if you need to practice with longevity breathing, and everybody should be aware every day about what's most comfortable today, because I have found, and I know other people as well, that some days you better do longevity breathing because reverse breathing isn't necessarily working terribly well today, or reverse of that.
Right.
So it's just a part of being really present and aware with what you can do best and what will be most beneficial in your practice. Carol, are you kind of echoing what Joanne said?
To a certain extent, though, today it was easier
Uh-huh.
doing the longevity breathing. It
Yeah.
it worked better.
Uh-huh. Anything for you, Mr. Bynum?
Yeah, yeah, I felt the longevity breathing part was I was, focusing on that because that's what we're doing, and it seemed to be I seem to be have the rhythm better and the synchronizing. And when I started doing the reverse breathing, I was doing reverse breathing, but I wasn't. I was 180 degrees out of sync with my inhales and exhales. I couldn't.
I
I couldn't straighten that out, and I just gave up and kept on being 180 degrees out of sync. It was all right, but it was interesting.
yeah. Yeah.
So we have all these stages of breathing
Right.
to go through, and one that some of you have heard and perhaps practiced some, is that Master Joe particularly taught is breathing without breathing, which obviously doesn't mean that you don't breathe, because that would be
That would work.
that would be counterproductive, to say the least. But breathing without breathing is really talking about no longer needing to coordinate the breath with the movement and allowing the breath to be continuous and supportive of your ability to direct the movement of the chi in your body. So this is a stage that eventually you would want to be able to move towards. I like Master Joe's terminology of breathing without breathing, just because it makes you stop and think for a moment what's going on here. But Bruce also talks about the same kind of breathing, but just uses a different term for it.
What does he use? Oh, that confuses.
He just talks about it generally of not coordinating with the breath, but keeping it continuous. And that's the real challenge. If you ever have, some of you will have worked with breathing without breathing before, because if you, when you allow the breath to not coordinate with the movement, it's causes a real disassociation at first. And it can be quite difficult to do. I was going to suggest that just to play with that a little bit, whether you've done it before or not, to just do, I was going to suggest just do the first three movements maybe 6, 8, or 10 of them, whatever's comfortable for you. And try to slow the movements down to the extent that if you coordinated with your breath, you would create pauses so that you are forced to keep the breath going. And just play with what happens. What do you have to do in order to do that? And it is certainly a more advanced stage. I'm not at all suggesting that you should proceed to that at this point. I just wanted to introduce it because you should have it in the back of your mind that's where eventually you want to go, because that allows you, certainly with a Tai Chi form and even with a Qigong practice, to go at whatever pace your body needs to go that day. Because the breath, it's not that the breath is not supportive and present. It's very much a part of what's going on, but it's no longer dependent on coordinating with the movement.
Well, that's easier in the form because you almost can't
Yep,
coordinate
Right.
the breath.
That's right.
You're
You have your ventilating at some point.
not breathing at all.
Or not breathing
Yeah.
it all out. Well, I think that's also then the issue, the challenge of having longer breaths,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still not. Yeah, I'm still working on that.
So I'd just like everybody to play with that a little bit.
Now or during
Now.
practice? Oh, now. I was confused. At first, I thought you said now, and then I thought you were talking about this week. Now. Okay. Ooh. Nice look, Carol. Really now? Okay, here we go.
Now, I want you just to play with it, see what happens. You don't have to do a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So slow it down.
It's easier than speeding up and trying to do
Yep.
it.
Trying to get through.
do the rest of the postures too.
I got lost in how many I was doing.
Well, that's good. So what happened when you did that?
That was a mess.
That's very
Started
appropriate.
out thinking, okay, I'll let my spine forget, just let the breathing happen and let my spine focus on my spine to coordinate everything instead of leading with the breathing. And so that seemed to be fine for a while, and the breathing was happening, but not with it and feeling the energy. But then the breathing was coordinated, and the reverse breathing was coordinated, and it just fell right in. It's like, I don't know what the analogy is, like riding a bicycle, but not on a bicycle. I don't know. It was a habit kicked in.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I think that was very appropriate for the first time of trying that.
Yeah, I found the first part of it kind of a mess. I mean, in terms of just trying to,
Forget about the breath.
forget about the breath. And then I felt like suddenly I was like, I think 2 is becoming too much like 5. So I was a bit aware of like, oh, wait a minute. I think I'm paying attention, but to what? By 4 and 5, I was back to reverse breathing. That was just kind of what was happening. And I think I ended up going longer because 4 felt so good.
Good.
It's like, so I think I kind of got lost in probably doing a dozen of them instead of a half dozen. But yeah, it was the first few were just like,
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't say, yeah, a mess, but it was like, you're not as coordinated. Although there were more things coordinated than I kind of thought, maybe, but which is good. The practice kind of paid off.
yeah,
But the breathing was challenging.
absolutely.
I found I was focusing on slowing down.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And there was this sort of sense that it was I don't think I was moving in little jerks, but
No.
it was
That you-
that in order to be that slow,
Oh, yeah, I hear what you mean.
it's
Yep.
it's kind of a sense of it all being little jerky, which and I'm not sure that the whole that all the other elements were there.
Mm.
Though in some ways it was kind of pleasant not to have to think about what the breathing is doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
liberation about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the breathing is going to do whatever. I'll breathe when I feel like it. But
Oh, constantly.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that until you just said that.
because I was just focusing on slowing down and doing, especially 3 slower, especially the top of 3. It was
Yes,
clearer
Mm-hmm.
doing it really slow.
I found that too.
Because I
Interesting.
tend to put a little pause at the top of 3 to say, okay, is my dantian up and my C curve in there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so I did it slow enough so I didn't have to pause to check that out.
Good. Mr. Nagel?
Pretty good. It was peaceful this morning. I've been not so much focusing on inhale and exhale, but on coordinating, rounding the breath with rounding the corners of, the transitions, so, yeah, I've actually, um, my image these days is of, a swing. When you go up to the highest point, there's not a pause, but there's the transition between going up and coming back.
Mhm.
And that seems to be helping me um, promote the rounding, business.
Mhm. Good. Well, this really was just to let you experience it a little. I don't think any of you are ready to bring it into your regular practice. So, but just to,
But there are learnings. Like you're right.
Yeah.
I had the same experience with 3.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Slow 3 down.
Slow 3 down. Right? Yeah.
The one thing I was going to mention in terms of movement that seems to be an issue for everybody, except in 3, interestingly enough, is not keeping the body and the legs moving. The arms keep moving. The arms don't
Yeah.
stop for the most part, but because we're going up and down in 4 of the postures, there is a tendency at either the top or the bottom to get there and stop and let the arms continue, but
Yes.
the body gets hung up. And so that's not what we want to happen.
I feel that.
That's-
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
That's not a rounding of the corner that Bill was just talking about. So it's important to try to pay attention to that, and it's just one more thing to deal with. I understand, but the body needs to keep moving continuously, just as and the legs and the body, as well as the arms. And remembering that it's the dantian and the spine that are really driving the whole movement and its coordination. It's not your arms.
Yes.
And you all know that. I realize I'm speaking to the choir, but
Right, but the reminders don't.
yeah.
We know it, but sometimes it's not. Yeah. I mean, I think the full body movement. I know I'm challenged with that, and that I think the slow down though helps.
Mm-hmm.
It really it helps because then you're more aware that you're standing, but your arms are still in the way up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
and you can't start stretching at that point.
And that's one of the advantages of getting the breath slower while you're doing coordination with it. The slower you're breathing, the slower you're able to move. And
Right.
there is indeed a lot to be said for going slowly. So,
It's not my strong point.
so any last minute thoughts or questions about this? Okay, well,
Great class.
thank you.
Thank you.
In your practice, as I said, I don't think you should be going to breathing without breathing at this point. Just make sure you're doing your full longevity breathing, and if you are, then make sure everything is working in your reverse breathing, and that you're not only moving the abdomen and the middle back or some other combination, but that everything is involved. Great. Good class indeed. Thanks.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Have a good week, everyone.
See you.
Is that a question?
What did he say? Nope, I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I will not be here next week. I will
Okay.
be standing at the Coast Guard Academy with Christy Noam on the inside. I know, of all people. But I'm on the coordinator, so yeah. That happens every year. We've been doing this for most of my time at Tai Chi. I've been
Yeah,
organizing that demonstration.
I remember
And
that.
it's always on Wednesday.
Oh, well.
Always on Wednesday. That's their tradition. I don't know why, but it's, it is what it is.
Absolutely.
So you may want to. I know you stay home sometimes when I'm
Yeah,
not.
I probably will not come out.
That's
Do
fine.
the Zoom, and then I will make sure you record it. I will
Yep.
look. I'm pretty good at that. There's one other week in late May I'm not going to be here. I'll have to check which. I think there's that I'm going to a conference in Washington. So
Oh, good.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So,
You could cut off an hour in the middle of
I haven't had
You have to be
meetings at
here to be
conferences, but
traveling.
it's very hard. Yeah, I know, and you're staying in a whatever. But that's usually the time of day when kind of some of the early interesting stuff happens.
Yeah.
Although I like the workshops better than the plenaries. Anyway, but
So, I'm gathering that you didn't do a whole lot of form.
no,
practice
not
this
the form
week.
was what got left out. Definitely, I did a bit more of God's. But no, because and now my body feels like tingly and feels good that it got to move this much. As I said to Carol in the car, I did have to take a couple of ibuprofen this morning just to kind of know I could make it through. I don't like to do that, but
Well,
until I could get to the chiropractor, that was the option.
sometimes you have to.
Sometimes you gotta, and because I don't do it often, it's pretty effective for a while anyway. So
Good.
still feels a little weird, stiff. I don't know what's going on. Felt very tight actually after standing for a while. I mean, I think there's some compression down there. You know,
Sure.
if I pick something up, then that's kind of where it crunched. But I could feel that at some point towards particularly the end of the second, just kind of the heaviness there, and then it down into the feet. So I'm not sure how good I'll be at this practice right now, but
That's why the Taoist spine stretch is so
I have
good.
been doing that.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been doing that every day. Yeah, and I know you can't do it too often, but or too much. But yes,
Three
that
times.
has 2 times, a couple times a day. Yeah.
Good.
No, that the spine stretching and the spine, and then just doing some twisting exercises have helped.
Good. Oh, good.
But yeah.
Any form question for you, Carol?
Not really. I've actually the last few jams I've been practicing the whole form
Oh,
Oh, good.
and I have been doing it. I won't say early in the morning because I've been sleeping until 8ish or so. But
when you first get up, that's early in the morning. I was.
Yeah.
fairly soon after I first get up, and noticing, it makes the day much more pleasant. And I've just been enjoying the flow of the whole form.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm not focusing on any one thing of it. Just
The whole
just
I do it outside. I
do
really
it on
need
the
to get
on the
back
deck.
outside. Yeah, that makes a difference too.
It does.
Yes,
In the
and
morning.
it's warm enough and cool enough to do
Right.
it on the deck in the morning.
Yeah.
It hasn't gotten so it's so hot that I can't stand it.
Like
And
yeah, by
the
8
sun
o'clock.
isn't all it isn't on there yet totally. So,
Yeah.
I've just been kind of enjoying it.
Oh, that's a very good thing to do because we've been focusing just on the second paragraph and we want to hold on to the rest of it.
Right,
Yeah,
and
I
I've gone
lost
back.
the entire Yang style. I don't remember any of that. So
It was funny watching people do it at Tai Chi, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that one.
I remember at one point saying, "Boy, I really know how to do this. Or I'm doing this pretty well." And
Right. No, I haven't even seen it in so long, but it came back as I watched people. I was like, oh, that's right. But I really like this style best, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny how different people who are talking, different people there have really drawn to different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm feeling like this is where I'm at.
That's great.
I think, not this week, but some other weeks I've done first and second paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is also just trying to make sure you don't forget what you do after plowed hands or what you do, because for the repeat, like, oh, no. I'm stuck in, for a while, it's like mixing the beginning of 1 and 2. By the time if I started at 2, I was kind of, no, that's from the first paragraph.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since I've done the third paragraph. Maybe that's where we should go after.
Well,
That's our June practice.
That's what I felt was we should move.
Do you want to do the whole thing? I don't think I can get up and do it very well.
No.
No.
That's
We're all like, okay, David. You're like, you spent our bodies.
Well, that's
Which is,
that's fine.
That's fine.
Um,
Yeah, I do find, especially now with meditation, to do 3 I can't, like, what do I do in the morning? And then also, I need to wake up a bit to feel like I'm really paying attention. But if I wake up too much and then get involved in something else, then it's really too hard to come back to. So trying to just keep everything else. Don't open the computer, don't look at your phone, don't turn the radio on. It's quiet in the morning, not weekends as much because Rick's home, but it's quiet most days. That makes a difference.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. If you can do it first thing in the morning.
I tend not to do it if I don't.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll do it in the evening, but
Yeah.
usually by then there's just too much. You have to close it. You have to really be more intentional about closing out. Rick's home, the TV might be on, you might be watching something, it's like.
Yeah.
And it is easier in the summer because I can go outside.
Sure. And it's really good to go outside.
It's good to go outside. It feels
That
like a different energy.
energy
Certainly,
is
there's a different energy.
Much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was eating lunch outside, I guess the day before. And we have a bird feeder, which probably, anyway. I take it out.
It's not a bear feeder or a squirrel feeder?
No, the squirrels can't get out. A bear only got out once.
Oh, I'm going to be telling you the bear story.
I take it in every night. And I was really surprised that there were a whole bunch of birds that came while I was just sitting there eating.
That's
And
nice.
I wasn't intentionally not moving, but of course I'm just...
You're moving because you're eating, but you're not doing a lot
too
more.
much, but the nuthatches and the titmouse and one of the woodpeckers.
Oh, one of the woodpeckers.
A hummingbird came by,
Wow.
which made me think, maybe
Time to put that out.
how do we put out a hummingbird feeder here? or a geranium or something.
Yep, I do a lot of geraniums.
But that's a very, very pleasant time.
Yeah. Yeah.
The goldfinches,
Mm.
which
Oh.
is fine.
The blue jays haven't come to scare the rest away.
Our feeder is such that the blue jay's too heavy, so they don't. I hear them in the woods, but they don't come to the feeder.
Mm.
Cardinal's about the biggest that can come.
Well, we can let go.
We're all like, okay.
That,
True. What's that? I lost track of.
it's probably quarter after.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. So I'll have to look at my schedule. I can send that to you. I can't remember what.
Okay.
I'm taking these things one day at a time. I mean, I know next week is although I just did my staff report last night, and I said, Caroline, I did 4 workshops or talks in the last 4 weeks, and yada yada yada. And I sent the whole thing in, and then I totally had forgotten to tell them about May 21st, which has been one of the primary things I've been doing. But I was searching for. Don't forget that you just did that class, or you did that training last week, or. Yeah, at Park
You were
Church.
looking at all this past
And then I
things
was
that
looking at all
are
the past
complete.
stuff and not like the thing I've been doing for the last 5 years. I think I told you I did the workshop
Yeah.
at Park. It was really fascinating to be back to do it there. Yeah.
Neat.
It's a lovely space. A lot of people,
It is.
about half the people came had not. But it's expensive. I mean, it cost us $250 for the 3 hours. Like we had a half-hour
Wow.
setup, 2 hours at workshop, and a half-hour cleanup, and that. So we can't sustain that. So we're looking for another place in Norwich that's for them to have more meetings. So we want to do some more trainings too. But I mean, luckily, somebody's husband said, "Okay, I had a good week at work." It's $250. Well, they haven't even been back. I gave them $50. I should get back in touch with them for cleaning deposit, but I should get that back. So
There's a UU church.
there's
storefront.
downtown now. There is one, right? Yeah, I'm gonna contact them. We were gonna contact them before, but we thought we'd have too many people. We could have actually probably made it. I don't think it's huge.
Yeah.
It's a little downtown storefront now. Yeah, they used to be over at one of the, I can't remember which church, maybe Second Congregational,
Yeah.
right by the City Hall. They had which had a great space because there were a lot of little offices in there. They had the parlor, and then there was a bigger space. I know Art Reach used to do stuff there. So we did have a brainstorm of stuff, but Norwich has a lot less, and Nillenden has a lot more. They've got the UU Church, sometimes St. James. Now we've got the place, and that's free for most groups. So, yeah. So Janine says, why doesn't your community land just buy a place in Norwich? Like, oh yeah, right. Yeah, sure. With $250,000, there's more spaces in Norwich that are available. I actually saw a friend play at the Strange Brew last night, which I'd never been into actually. And the pub kind of place where they do the music's on the second floor. The first floor is a banquet hall. People advertise them as banquet halls or party spaces rather than meeting spaces, but maybe. I think Patrick knows the guy who runs that pub too. He went to high school with him, so
Ah.
I'll have him call Patrick. Because
Yeah.
like, yeah, Patrick. Maybe they'll give us a discount.
Sounds like Park Church is charging more for their.
I can't imagine you paid $250 a class, David.
I didn't.
Well, I'm sure also it might be cheaper if you do it over
Yeah.
you have weeks and weeks. Usually you can get it like that, but that was a little bit steep. But we were not sure what the numbers would be, so we went with the bigger place. But I'm going to check the UU Church. That's on my list. I know a few people who go there, but I'll check the central number. And then I would buy a space on Sachem coming back from the dentist. There's an art.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's not called an art. Is it called an art school? An art something? Right on across, like by Dr. Lowney's office.
I think
They say parties outside. There are little signs at parties. So I'm like, okay.
yeah, but their parties maybe, you know.
They rented for parties because
Oh, that's-
people said they had showers and kids' birthday stuff there. Yeah, is that all related to the art? Did he have a kid's birthday party there? Because you do art? I don't know. I mean, if it's a small number, it's easy.